Hey everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of New York City, Season 13, Episode 1. Back in the Big Apple. Okay, you guys, I always have high hopes for New York because it's my very favorite franchise of all the Housewives franchises. But this year, for the first time, I'm a little cautious. I'm not sure how it's going to be without Dorinda. I do believe that Dorinda needed a rest, that her being off this season was a good decision for her, but maybe not such a good decision for us. We'll see. I'm going in with an open mind, but I don't have super high expectations like I normally do. And also because COVID. Right from the start, we open up with the date on the Chiron saying March 1st, 2020. And there's the hustle and bustle of Times Square and Central Park, everybody walking, talking. It's vibrant and lively. And then we cut to October 1st, 2020. Crickets. I mean, not literally crickets, but the streets are empty. Central Park is empty. No one's around. It looks like a ghost town. And I think that's where we're starting off, October of 2020. So we'll see how it goes. All right, well, there's some good news. The first real scene is featuring the mountain. Yeah. Martin is back, thankfully. One of the bright spots of last year was when Leah would go to the boxing gym and Martin would train her and Tinsley. And, that's where we fell in love with him. So Leah walks in and tells him that she hasn't been able to work out in months because of her surgery. And Martin said, "How'd it go?" Leah, "Good. I can breathe amazing." Martin, "And you don't have that big honker anymore." Martin gets the first laugh of the season. Now we're with Ramona and Avery and Mario, and Ramona's hugging Mario. And she goes, "Oh my God, we just realized that we were staying with you for 3 months, and now we haven't seen you for 3 months." In her confessional, she says, "Mario and I just have a natural rhythm, and we got our rhythm back again. We're a family." Then we get a sample of that rhythm. As Mario said, "I did miss your cooking down in Florida." And Ramona says, "You need to come here more often." Mario, "No, you need to come down there more often." Ramona, in her best flirting tone, "Is that an offer?" Mario goes, "You mean an invite?" "Yeah." Mario, yeah, you got your rhythm back, girl. Now we see that Luann has a new apartment on the Upper East Side, and she's there with her assistant, Molly. Luann's like, "Oh, my lone avocado." Molly goes, "Yeah, I got everything organic for you." Luann, "I used to love going to the supermarket, but now that it's a masked affair, I'm not into it." Oh my God. Seriously? She's like, "I know that we all need masks, but to me, they're a real fashion faux pas." I missed Luann. Sonia is at her townhouse with her newest intern, Zoe. I don't think we've seen her before. In her confessional, she's like, "These are crazy times and I'm a crazy lady." Yes, you are. Oh, we're getting the taglines, episode 1. All right, girls, let's see what you got. Luann, "Of all my vices, being glamorous is the one I'll never give up." Leah, "I'm sex positive and BS negative." Ramona, "I may say the wrong thing, but my intentions are always right." Are they though? Okay. Now we have the new housewife, Ebony. "I've had to work twice as hard for half as much, but now I'm coming for everything." And then Sonia's is, "Just like New York City, Sonia Morgan will never go out of style." Doesn't seem like there's a tremendous amount of effort put into them this year, but a couple good ones. Also, I'm always very interested in the placement of the ladies in the opening when they're holding out the apple. It looks like Luann has gotten the center apple, and Ramona and Sonia are out on the ends, which I find interesting. Leah took the world by storm in her rookie season, so it doesn't surprise me that she's next to Luann. But, then we have Ebony also on the other side of Luann. it could possibly be just because they're wearing like a white dress, white, black, white, and they wanted, this certain symmetry there. But, they could have told the girls to wear a different color. I don't know. We found out that Leah also has a new apartment, and she's in Fidei, which is where my daughter's old apartment was. So I know the area, and it's probably one of my favorite neighborhoods in New York City. Of course, I doubt that Leah is splitting the rent with 2 other girls like my daughter did. But Leah does have a new dog, a very cute little chihuahua named Miss Angel Marie McSweeney Cristofaro. That is a big name for a little dog. I assume that's like Rob's last name. Gosh, I hope Rob is in it this year. I miss Rob. Okay, there I said it. Partially what I loved about Rob was that he never seemed like he really wanted to be on camera. He was, but sort of reluctantly, and I kind of like that. I hate the thirsty husbands. Also, I should say that the financial district is just about as far away from the Upper East Side as you can get while still being in Manhattan. So that isn't lost on me either. That there's still a real difference between Leah and the other ladies, Anyway, Leah tells us that quarantining alone gives you time to make some changes in your life, and that's why she upgraded her apartment and got the new dog. Now we see her FaceTiming with her sister Sarah, and she tells her that she's nervous because she's converting to Judaism, and it's just like becoming very real to her. Sarah goes, "It's a big thing to convert to an organized religion." Leah says she's been wanting to do this for a long time, and once she quit drinking again, she felt the desire to convert to Judaism is stronger than ever before. But when Sarah asks her what type, and she says Orthodox, Sarah said, "Oh, you're going to have to dress a lot more modestly." And Leah thought she said modern, and she's like, "Yeah, I like to dress modern." And she goes, "No, modest." Leah, "Oh, no, I'm not going to want to do that." She is more attracted to all the rules and rituals. So, I know people like that. I know people who love the rituals of Catholicism, but don't really believe in other aspects of it. So, I don't know what that is in people that want to do that, that desire. Maybe it's people who come from chaotic lives that this just feels more like just to have more structure in your life, maybe. I don't know. I'm not religious at all, so I can't really speak to why she wants to do it. So now Leah calls her father, and she FaceTimes with him, or he's calling her back. I can't remember. And she said, "Yeah, Dad, I wanted to talk to you because tomorrow is Yom Kippur, and I just wanted to say that I'm sorry for not always being the best daughter, and I would like to ask for your forgiveness." And her dad's like, "Well, we'll see how it goes." And she's like, "Well, no, it doesn't work that way. You either forgive me or you don't." And her dad goes, "I'm not Jewish. I'll do what I want." So he's like, "You just want to be forgiven. I'm Catholic and we believe in penance. So you're just saying you want me to just forgive you." And she's like, "Well, yeah, I'm atoning, Dad." I have a feeling I know how this is going to go with Leah. She'll follow along with all the rules and rituals for as long as that interests her. And then when something gets difficult or there's something she doesn't want to do, like already with dressing more modestly, "Oh, well, I don't want to do that." So she's going to be one of these people that picks and chooses what part of the religion she wants to follow. And I have a feeling that eventually she's just going to give it all up. I don't know. We'll see. Next, we see Ramona walking down the street with Coco. Side note, how old is Coco now? 27? She's had that dog forever. Anyway, she is talking to Coco and saying, "Coco, guess who moved into the neighborhood? Luann. She lives just 2 blocks from me." And Coco's probably thinking, you mean from us? I live with you, lady." So she gets to Luann's. Luann, "Oh, look at you. So chic, c'est la vie. I'll tell you what, if I saw you walking down the street, I'd look twice." Okay. So apparently Luann sold the roundhouse that everybody hated. If you remember that girls' trip, she sold it because According to Luann, and this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, I never got to go up there because, COVID. No, I don't know. COVID would be the reason you would have time to go up there. COVID is the reason everybody has time. You're not doing your cabaret show. What are you busy with? Anyway, Ramona is being so weird, like she's gushing over the apartment and Luann in general, and I don't know what that's all about. She's like, Luann, honestly, you impress me more and more. The more I get to know you. That's weird, right? In her confessional, she goes, I feel like I'm meeting Luann for the first time. I'm actually excited that she's my neighbor. So Luann has a bottle of non-alcoholic Chardonnay chilling in an ice bucket. And she tells Ramona, because Victoria doesn't drink and I'm not drinking right now. Ramona, oh, yeah, Avery's not drinking and I'm like cutting way down too. She's not stopped, but she's cutting down. So Luann is serving her this non-alcoholic rosé that Ramona is acting like she's very excited about. Oh, I can't wait to try it. And then go home and have the real thing. I can tell you right now that when she takes a sip, she's going to act like it's the best thing she ever tasted. That's how much she's like genuflecting before Luann. I'm so confused by this behavior. Ramona, cheers to our new budding friendship. Okay, I'm just going to go with it now because apparently this is how we're going to act. Like they just met for the first time and they're hitting it off famously. Luann goes, well, I want to toast to not drinking. Yeah, not your budding friendship. You want to toast to not drinking. Then she says, actually, I think I'm allergic to alcohol because this summer I had a couple of times where I didn't know how I got home. Ramona, this summer? Whoa. Okay, settle down. I want to hear all about this. Right now, I'm getting chills. I mean, yeah, I would like to hear about it too, that a couple of times over the summer you didn't know how you got home. Like, that's not good. But, everything is so over the top with Ramona. Luann's like, yeah, it scared me. And Ramona said, were you at a friend's house? And she goes, no, I was just out in Sag Harbor. Then in her confessional, she goes, I was disgusted with myself. I mean, at my age and blacking out like that, I just said, you know what? I'm not drinking. So the conversation turns to how neither of them have heard from Sonia. But not only that, they both have tried to call and text her, and she doesn't reply to them. Then Luann says that she ran into Sonia's daughter somewhere. And I said to her, what's up with your mom? And she said, you know what? She doesn't give me the time of day. She's too busy. Okay, time out. I do not believe for a second that Sonia's 20-something-year-old daughter said to you, I'll tell you what, my mother doesn't give me the time of day. No. Didn't happen. She probably was trying to get rid of Luann and just said something like, oh, my mom, she's so busy all the time. I hardly ever see her. You know what I mean? Like that seems likely. What doesn't seem likely is that she was distraught over her mother not spending time with her. Even Ramona was shocked by that. She's like, she doesn't have time for her daughter? She does everything for her daughter. In Ramona's confessional, she said, when Sonia goes MIA, it means that something's going on with her psychologically. Maybe she's embarrassed, but we're her friends. We're here for her. Yeah. So now Luann is telling Ramona that she fell in love with this apartment. And again, Ramona's gushing over it. It's beautiful and it's big, and especially for New York City, I'm sure it was quite expensive, but it's not better than Ramona's apartment. But anyway, Luann tells her, so when I was standing here waiting for the movers to come in, I looked out this window over here and come on, let me show you. She points out the window and right across the way is Tom's terrace. Please tell me it's not Tom's. It's Tom's. Now, I suppose it's possible that she didn't know until after she bought the apartment, but I also feel like when you're looking at a place, it would be sort of natural to look out the windows and see what view you have, especially in Manhattan. So I'm not buying that. Also, this is suspicious. Luann just goes, look, and she's pointing out the window, and there's a bunch of buildings and things out there, but Ramona immediately goes, oh my God. And they're like jumping up and down together and holding hands and she's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Are we supposed to believe that Ramona immediately recognizes Tom's balcony, like especially from this angle? And if she does recognize his terrace, why? How would she know his terrace that well? That just felt disingenuous to me. It was funny, but it didn't ring true. In Luann's confessional, she goes, well, the good news is I'll always know when he's in town. So if the lights are on, I'm not going to go to the Regency. How about you just stay away from the Regency altogether? There are 100,000 other places you could go to in Manhattan. Okay, in this next scene, we're finally being introduced to Ebony. She is being introduced to us as Leah's friend, and they are meeting in Central Park. They go for a little walk, and then they sit down on the benches. And right away, Leah asks Ebony, how did your date go? And Ebony goes, oh, you want the tea, huh? She goes, it was really nice. Alan's great. We went out to dinner on the Upper West Side, had a great time. In Leah's confessional, she tells us that she and Ebony met and hit it off right away, that Ebony lives near her and their dogs are in love with each other. So maybe they met at a dog park or something. I don't know. Leah says they have a lot in common. The only difference is that Ebony knows how to date rich guys. She also said that Ebony is the epitome of black girl magic. She's strong, confident. She's a lawyer. She's a broadcaster. She took on the former president. And then we get to see a little blurb that she needed security because she was getting death threats after she criticized Trump for what he said about Charlottesville. And Leah's like, and she does it all while looking hot in her Louboutins. She is beautiful, like all the ladies are. So Ebony asks Leah if she's seeing anyone. And Leah's like, well, I mean, I am still kind of enmeshed with this guy, Pita Chip. She's still seeing Pita Chip. This is the guy that she like sexted a picture of herself naked with just a pita covering her and sent it to him. And then almost immediately, he sent it back to her with a comment like, this girl really wants it or something like that. It was supposed to be going to a friend of his, but he accidentally sent it to her. You're still dating that guy? Oh. So Ebony says, listen, I'm not trying to psychoanalyze you, Leah, but are you ready to fall in love? And Leah goes, yes, I am. Then the conversation just turns to like dating and getting serious with a guy. And Leah said, yeah, but like I won't poop at a guy's house. She said, if we're going away like for the weekend, I would rather get a colonic before I go. Ebony goes, oh, I don't care. I'll take a doo-doo. I'm a human, bitch. I ate. That's pretty funny. I think we're going to like her, guys. Back at Sonia's with her intern Zoe, she says, so I'm going to have a brunch here in a couple days. I'm inviting all the girls because I haven't seen them. But the girls can be a little judgmental. They come in, they say Grey Gardens and all that. Zoe's looking at her like, yeah, I don't know what that is. In Sonia's confessional, she said, I'm not going to lie. I like quarantining alone. Then we learned that she had to move back into the townhouse because with COVID, it hasn't been renting out. And she couldn't pay the rent on both places, so she let go of her apartment, and now she's living back in the townhouse. Then after a couple of mishaps, Sonia teaches her intern how to get her bubble bath ready. I mean, is that what you went to college for, Zoe? Are you questioning your choices in life? Anyway, once she gets into the bubble bath, she FaceTimes Leah, and Leah is also in the tub. She invites Leah to her townhouse for brunch, and Leah's excited because she's never been there before. And she goes, okay, I'm respectfully asking you now if I can bring my friend Ebony. I think you're really going to like her. She's great. She's a lawyer. She's really trying to sell her, which seems weird because Sonia knows this is the new housewife and she has to say yes. She's like, she's really sweet. I really think you'll like her. The girl's already holding an apple, so I'm pretty sure she can come, Leah. Now we see Ebony's apartment, and it's in Tribeca, and it's very luxurious, a view of the Hudson River. And there's a knock at her door, and it's her friend Natalie. In Ebony's confessional, we find out that she's a lawyer and a broadcaster. Yes, we've heard it already. You're an overachiever, we get it. And she also hosts her own show, Revolt Black News, and does that from her apartment, I guess. Well, it's COVID, so we see her doing that from home. And she also has her own podcast called Holding Court with Ebony K. Williams, as if she didn't already have enough jobs. We get a little of Ebony's backstory. She started practicing law at 23. She needed a bigger voice, a bigger platform. And then she tells us that when she was younger, she made some irresponsible decisions that had the repo man knocking at her door. Eventually, what happened was she did get her car repossessed, but that was the past, and now she's got her credit score back up to excellent, and she is going to be buying a brownstone in Harlem. So I guess she's going to be moving too. I don't know when that's going to happen, but... Okay, so now it's the morning of the brunch, and Sonia's out in her garden area, that little outdoor patio area, and she's, getting everything ready and spruced up. She doesn't like the table runner, she said, because she grew up with a family of people that had table runners on everything and plastic on the couches and carpets were covered with plastic. Side note, has Sonia ever written a memoir? Because I'm thinking that would be a good read. I'd love to get her childhood story, Anyway, Sandra, the florist, is there, and she's just standing there listening to Sonia complain about everything and ramble on. And as Sonia's walking past her, she gently takes the price tag that's hanging off of her shirt and tucks it back into Sonia's collar. Without skipping a beat, Sonia's like, oh yeah, and I also leave the tags on everything because I never know if I'm going to keep something or not. But you are wearing it. So, all in all, this is actually better than the last time she hosted all the ladies in her garden, and she first had to pick up all the dog poop. So, at least we didn't have to see that this time. Oh, now back with Thelma and Louise. Ramona's getting ready for the brunch, and she calls Luann. Hey, Lou, it's Ramona. How you doing? I'm good, just getting ready for our little brunch at Sonoritas. Ramona, me too. I want to get dressed up, and I Googled it, and you can wear white all year round. Luann goes, I've got a white pantsuit sitting on the bed right now. So, yay, they're going to dress like twinsies. Ramona cackles at that, and then she said, I'll text you when I'm getting in the car. Luann, Ramona is my neighbor. Lucky me. Ramona, and lucky me. I mean, guys... They can't keep this up the whole season, right? Please tell me that one of them will viciously turn on the other. I can't take this. It gives me a toothache. It's so sweet. Now we're in the car with Leah and Ebony, and they are also heading over to Sonia's. Leah goes, how you feeling? And Ebony goes, I'm really excited, actually. This will be so fun. Side note, guys, is Ebony maybe going to be too classy for this show, do you think? I don't know. I'm getting the feeling that she could be somebody who just uses the show for the exposure, to help maybe raise awareness for some of the more serious work that she's doing. And then she'll leave. I don't know. It's too early to tell, I guess. I feel like she's not gonna want to hang around very long. I don't think she's one of them. She does not seem like a nut job, at least not yet. Leah goes, I just hope they behave themselves. And Ebony goes, why? Do you think they've met anyone like me before in person? And Leah goes, what do you mean, like a black person? And she goes, no, and Leah cuts her off and she goes, actually, no, I don't think they have. Ebony goes, I mean a black person like me. Did they ask any questions about me? And Leah said, well, to be fair, I only told Sonia. And no, she didn't really ask me anything. And to be fair to Sonia, you basically told her everything there was to know about Ebony. You were like, she's a lawyer, she's a broadcaster, she does this, she does that, you're going to like her. She's like, I don't think that there were any questions left for Sonia to ask about her, you know? Ebony does tell us that she's familiar with Luann because they've run into each other at various charity events. She saw her at Jill Zarin's house once when Jill was like hosting a charity. So she kind of knows Luann. Then Leah goes, I shouldn't be talking like this about every one of them. Really, it's just Ramona. And Ramona has promised me that she wouldn't tell me what to do and say anymore. And then Ebony asks, when did you see Ramona last? And she goes, oh, it was a couple months ago. And then we get a flashback to the reunion. So is that the last time that Leah saw Ramona? Probably. Ebony's like, and then the last time you saw her was coolish? And Leah's like, not really. Cue footage. So if that was the last time she saw her, like I get the feeling a lot of these women don't really have much to do with each other during the off season. It's almost like they just pretend to be friends for a TV show. Anyway, Ebony says, more importantly though, I hope the food's going to be good. So I do like her so far. I am missing Dorinda though. You know, like I said, I think this break was necessary for her, but I do hope that she ends up coming back. Okay, so Ebony and Leah arrive first. They're getting out of the car and they walk in and the camera cuts to Sonia, who's climbing around her pond now, pulling leaves out of it. And she doesn't really look ready for guests. Let's just put it that way. I mean, she's dressed and everything, but like, it's Sonia. Leah and Ebony walk in, and like I said, Leah has never been there before, and she's starting to say to Ebony, you know, oh, if these walls could talk, like, you know, I bet they'd have a lot of stories to tell. And Leah said in her confessional, you know, it looks like a normal, nice townhouse and everything, but I'm pretty sure if I had a black light, I might not even want to walk in the place. But I'm happy to be here. Now we see Sonia climbing over a fence. And now she decides she needs to hose down the stones in the patio. Leah sees her and she goes, oh, hi, Sonia. And Sonia goes, I'll be right there, Leah. Let me just do these stones because nobody knows how to do it but me. Leah's like, do you need help? Sonia, this is like a specialized thing that I'm doing. This is weird. Because of course, like Ebony, who she's never met, is just standing there. Nobody's greeting her guests. It's so weird, but it's also so Sonia, and you have to just kind of go with it. She goes, it's very specialized what I'm doing. It's funky stone. You have to get the dirt off at the top, but you can't get the dirt out of the cracks. So they're just standing there, and Ebony looks at Leah, and she goes, is this for real right now? And Leah's like, yeah. And they both just start laughing. So Sonia comes in, and she kisses Leah, hello. And she goes, oh, it's okay. I have the antibodies. Isn't that what everybody's saying now? And Ebony goes, oh, I actually do have the antibodies. I got sick, so I have the antibodies. And Sonia, you know, leans over, kisses her, and she goes, you're so tiny. I didn't realize. What? What the hell kind of thing is that to say to somebody you just meet? You're so tiny, I didn't realize. Like, you thought I was going to be fat? What does that mean? I don't know. Then they move on to talking about not knowing if Ramona really had the antibodies and gave blood or not. And Sonia goes, I mean, I instinctively didn't believe her because if she donated blood, she would have posted it. Leah's like, she would have Instagrammed it. She Instagrams everything. Roll footage. We see Ramona on Instagram trying to read the directions for her new coffee maker. And we also see her cleaning a toilet on Instagram. So now they all walk back out into the garden, and Ebony goes, oh, this is an enchanted garden. It's like you read about in books. Sonia brings her over by the pond, and she goes, I'll just try to be PC here, but if you'll notice my fish, I have them in every color, black, white, yellow. Also, side note, why is Sonia carrying a purse? She's at her own house. Anyway, God bless Ebony for going along with this nonsense. She's like, yeah, I see biracial fish. You even promote body positivity. You've got small fish and big fish. Sonia's like, yeah, skinny ones, everything. Ebony goes, you better be the queen of fish diversity, bitch. In her confessional, she said, I think Sonia is trying to connect on the racial diversity element, but I think the fish effort was a little lame. She goes, I give her credit for trying, though. Anyway, so they sit down at the table. They're still waiting on Ramona and Luann. And Sonia's like, I hate to be a Debbie Downer. They were asking her how she's doing. But, the money comes in, the money goes out. I just had a big deal go south. And then Leah goes, oh, I know, the Century 21. So, yeah, at the end of last season, everybody was so happy for Sonia because she had gotten a deal to have her, Sonia by Sonia Morgan collection in Century 21. And due to COVID, Century 21 went bankrupt and closed all their stores. So she just kind of lost that big break. She said her online business is doing well, but all the upfront costs were a lot, like the fabric and sewing machines and stuff like that. So Ebony said, are you looking at your own book, Sonia? They asked her if she was 50-50 ownership, and she said, I own 54%. So then Ebony's like, yeah, are you looking at your own books, Sonia? And she said, well, I went there last year and he showed me, but I didn't get to see the books. Ebony goes, you need to see the books. If you're 54% owner, you have controlling partnership status and you need to see your own books. Sonia goes, oh, I'm seeing the lawyer coming out of that cleavage. Yes, Ebony is wearing a very low-cut dress, but still weird, still awkward. Ebony's like, yeah, sorry to get all badass. Sonia, no, get badass. Leah goes, what kind of lawyer are you, Ebony? And she goes, every kind. In Sonia's confessional, she goes, I like that we have a lawyer in the group now. Maybe next we can get a plastic surgeon. So as they're chatting, we learn that Ebony was engaged to be married just this past January to a guy who has 3 kids, 2 in college and one's a 13-year-old. Sonia asked her if she wanted to have kids. She does, but, clock is ticking. And she just said that she and this guy learned that they wanted different things in life, and so they broke up. So Ramona and Luann arrive now, and I guess Luann does know Ebony a little bit, or at least enough that they were talking on the phone beforehand, and Luann was helping Ebony decide what to wear for this brunch. But she meets Ramona for the first time, and then right away Ebony asks Lou, so what's new on the scene? And Luann said, well, I have my trainer friend in the Hamptons. He's gorgeous, 6'6". He's just a healthy guy. We're just friends, but, every once in a while, a little kissy-kissy. Ramona, there's nothing wrong with that. Oh, of course not, because for some reason, Luann's your best friend. Then they talk about Ebony's new guy. Ramona goes, how do you get a boyfriend during COVID? I need some lessons. Ebony goes, so he was my friend, and I friend-zoned him for a year. And she's starting to tell her story. And Sonia goes, you don't get enough action? Stop. She doesn't even remember her boyfriend's names. Ramona, because they're not boyfriends. They're just friends. Leah, friends with benefits? Ramona, no, you do that, Sonia. Leah goes, you've been hanging out with Harry Dubin. I've been seeing you 2 sucking face all over New York City. Sonia, yeah, gross. Yeah, gross. Harry Dubin? Ladies, this franchise has the worst men. I mean, none of the ladies are married. Yeah, none of the ladies are married, but the men they hang out with, horrible, except for Rob. Ramona goes, well, sometimes he gets a little frisky. And Leah goes, come on, don't blame it all on him. In Ramona's confessional, she goes, seriously, Leah? Are you getting that desperate to pick on me? Throwing out Harry Dubin? So Ramona's like, he's just a friend. Leah, not according to Sonia. Luann, I don't know if Luann is having a separate conversation all by herself, but she goes, don't ask me. I got married after 2 weeks to my first husband. Ramona goes, she just likes to be funny. Sonia, and she lies, so perfect. Leah's laughing. Sonia goes, why does everyone start out in my life and end up in your bed? Ramona didn't like that. No one's in my bed, baby. Ebony, you guys have a different kind of friendship than I'm used to. Yeah. They have a different kind of friendship than anybody's used to, Ebony. There really is a lot of tension and animosity between Ramona and Sonia. And I wonder, now that I'm thinking about it, if that's why Ramona is so gung-ho on Luann. I wonder if she's she's got in the works that she's going to be besties with Luann and leave Sonia out. I don't know. Anyway, Luann finally gets back to Ebony's, which is how this question started. And she tells them they were friends for a year and they were out together and he was talking about social justice and the kneeling in the NFL. And she's like, and I love sports, And he's a minority owner of a football team. So Leah goes, maybe he can introduce me to some football players. Ebony goes, no. Then to the others, she goes, I'm working on Leah. You got to stay away from the talent, Leah, and get into the bosses. Then Ramona goes, whatever makes her happy. She's young. And then Leah kind of puts her drink up and they clink glasses. And Ebony said, but that doesn't make her happy, Ramona. That's the problem. But it was a little bonding moment for Ramona and Leah. So Ebony says that this guy has 3 kids. Sonia, oh, just like the other one, 3 kids. So he's not just loaded, he's loaded with sperm. Yeah, she really said that. For sure you'll get pregnant with this guy. Ebony just said, I hope so. Leah, are you on birth control? Ebony said yes. And Sonia goes, oh, well, maybe you should get off of it. And she goes, well, I'm not trying to trap the guy. So they're all laughing. And Ramona's getting tired of sitting in the chair, so they all head into the house. But before they do, Luann said, Leah, can I talk to you for a second? And she goes, yeah, what's up? Luann goes, I'm just wondering because I'm not drinking. And Leah goes, for how long? And Luann said, well, during COVID, I was kind of going back and forth. I was like, I can handle this, but I'm realizing now I really can't. I'm struggling with it. And I just wanted to know where your head's at. Like if you could be my wingman. I remember you told me that you're not drinking right now. I mean, I'm not asking you to be my sponsor or anything. And Leah goes, of course not, yeah. I haven't drank since March 31st. And it was easy to get back into that because prior to that, I didn't drink for 9 years. So right before I started the show last year, I started drinking again. So it wasn't like I was drinking for that long before I knew I wanted to quit again. And it was easier to fall right back into that then because I had so many years of sobriety in me. And this time, I can just so easily see that this is what's right for me. So Luann just thinks it would be nice to have her as a wingman around these crazy ladies. She's like, I can be around them when they're drinking, but to know that I have another person who's doing this with me, the not drinking. Then we get a flashback of how crazy the drinking was last year. And honestly, most of the craziness seemed to be Leah. Also, Sonia and Dorinda. So they join the others inside and they're sitting down and Sonia has an array of desserts there for them. And Luann said, oh, you never fail to be a gracious hostess, Sonia. Ramona goes, yeah, we missed you. You didn't visit me or Lou this summer. And Leah goes, we talked a little bit, Sonia and I. And Luann goes, she's a new friend. We're your oldest friends in the world. Sonia goes, are you talking about October, November, December? Luann goes, we're talking about January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and August. God. Sonia, I was alone, just in the desert, alone, walking, all by myself. For all those months? I was alone every day. Luann goes, it's not about that. We're your besties, and we haven't heard from you. Sonia brings up the Century 21 thing and how that was really getting to her. And Luann and Ramona both say, but we haven't heard from you for 8 months prior to that deal falling through. Sonia just said, I didn't want to bother you guys. So anyway, they decide that they should all go to the Hamptons. Girls trip. Leah says, I'd love to get out of the city. And Ramona turns and says, and Ebony, you come too. Ebony said, oh, I'm flattered that you would include me. You're a housewife, right, Ebony? You're entitled to go on these trips. In fact, you're probably required to go on them. Truthfully, it's rather shocking that Ramona is the one to invite her. Ramona's like, I don't really like people at first, usually, but I felt an immediate bond with you. Leah is across the room and she goes, And Ebony goes, yeah, it's easy. It was very easy talking with you. Very natural. Ramona, yeah, natural. Like there's anything natural about Ramona. Leah goes, Ramona, you said that to me the first time we met too. Busted. Ebony goes, oh, oops. Ramona goes, well, I agree. So Leah goes, thank you. In Leah's confessional, she goes, I already felt the singer stinger last year, and I'm going to do my damnedest to prevent Ebony from having to go through what I went through. I don't think she will, though, because Ebony is nothing like Leah. I think Ebony has the respect of Ramona already, and Leah never did. Also because Leah had just started drinking again after 9 years of sobriety, and she was wild. I mean, great TV. Probably the best rookie season of any housewife I've ever seen. But I'm just saying, Ebony is a lawyer and a broadcaster and all the things, and I just don't think she's going to have the same problem with the ladies that Leah did. How old is Ebony? Do we know? Anyway, Ebony said, are we all going to stay together? And Ramona goes, yeah. And Luann said, and you have to come to my house too. You haven't seen my home. I have a beautiful home in Sag Harbor. And Ebony said, well, if it's in Sag Harbor, I know it's beautiful because Sag Harbor is my favorite in all the Hamptons. Luann, oh really? You know Sag Harbor? Ebony said, well, it's a very spiritual connection for me. Because Sag Harbor was the first community on Long Island of the resort towns that allowed Black people to own property, waterfront property. This was like in the 1940s. Luann, I never heard that before. So, you know, typically we do a trip to the Hamptons. Side note, this is breaking the fourth wall a little bit, isn't it? Her sort of explaining how the Housewives season is going to go to Ebony. I thought that was interesting. I mean, I actually like it because it makes it feel like this is a documentary. The making of the Real Housewives. Oh God, I would watch the hell out of that. Luann goes on to say, and it's kind of like our girls' bonding moment. Leah raises her eyebrows. Leah is cracking me up because I feel like these other women are kind of putting on their best behavior maybe for Ebony. And Leah knows the real women, and so it's like she's just getting a kick out of it, I think. Anyway, Luann goes, sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't. Then we get a very interesting flash forward to a week later. They're in the Hamptons, and you see Ebony with her like mouth dropped open as Sonia and Ramona are just screaming at each other. Then we jump back to the present. Ebony, I'm excited. Ramona, you're even nicer in person than they said. Flash forward again. Ebony screaming, you need to clean your ears out and listen. I think that was to Luann. Back to the present. All the ladies are standing and they're heading to the door. And Ramona said, Leah, that pink purse clashes with the black and red. Okay, first of all, Leah is wearing a geometric print top with a plaid skirt. I don't think she's worried about matching. Leah goes, what do you want me to do? Wear a black purse? That's so obvious. Sonia to Ramona, can you at least wait till she leaves to talk shit about her? Back to the future. Leah screaming at Ramona, you're not going to treat me like I'm in the wrong. Ramona, I don't need to hear it. I don't need to hear it. Back to the present. I'm not talking shit. I love the bag. I love you. I love your outfit. I'm just not sure the bag goes together. And Luann says, welcome to the club. And you just hear Ebony go, what happened to talking behind people's back? No, it's a new day, honey, just in their face. Indeed, it is a new day. And that is the end of this episode. I have a couple of thoughts. One is I'm trying to cut them some slack because I feel like they needed to integrate Ebony, and so there was a little bit of just niceties where we're kind of just getting to know her. But this was not your typical, oh boy, New York is a cut above every other franchise because every episode is just amazing. This was a little, to be honest with you. I don't feel like they started strong out of the gate, you know? But I do kind of like Ebony. I don't know if she's going to cause enough drama. We did get a little glimpse, so she's got the fire in her. I guess we just have to see, you know? Either way, I mean, there's no way I'm going to give up on my girls of New York. All right, thank you guys very much for joining me. I am trying to get these videos out in a somewhat timely manner, but I did take a little bit of an informal poll, and a lot of you said that you like the longer, more detailed recaps. I'm just like a one-woman show here, and I'm not super quick with all the editing and everything. So these may be coming out at random later times, but I am going to cover every episode, so I hope that you guys like it. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please consider doing so. If you liked this recap, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, please don't forget to comment. I love to hear from you guys. All right, that is it for me. I love you guys. Wear a mask. See you next time. Bye.